In the heart of a decaying dystopian city, Dr. Anders, a reclusive yet brilliant scientist, toiled away in his dimly lit laboratory. Consumed by the grandfather paradox, he devoted his life to creating a time machine capable of reversing a tragedy that shattered his family, the untimely death of his beloved grandfather. As Dr. Anders labored, the shadows in the lab seemed to shift and whisper, as though taunting him with the terrifying consequences of his obsession. Haunted by his grandfather's face, twisted in agony during his final moments, Dr. Anders finally succeeded in constructing a time machine that could transport him to the fateful day of the accident. As he prepared to embark on his perilous journey, Dr. Anders felt the icy grip of existential terror closing in on him. He pondered the consequences of meddling with time, the possibility of erasing his own existence and countless others. But his desperation, fueled by guilt and despair, overpowered his fear, and he activated the time machine. Upon arrival in the past, Dr. Anders was immediately struck by a chilling unease. The air was thick with tension, as though the universe itself was aware of his meddling. The faces of passers-by appeared distorted and grotesque, reflecting the potential horrors his actions might unleash. With every step, Dr. Anders felt an ever-growing sense of doom. The grandfather paradox weighed heavily upon him, a sinister spectre haunting his every move. Yet, he persisted, driven by the tantalizing prospect of restoring his family's happiness and rewriting their tragic history. As the fateful moment approached, Dr. Anders spotted the vehicle that would cause the accident, its engine emitting a guttural growl like a ravenous beast. His heart raced as he lunged toward his unsuspecting grandfather, pushing him out of the vehicle's deadly path. Time seemed to shatter like a broken mirror as the vehicle screeched to a halt. As they stumbled to safety, Dr. Anders locked eyes with his grandfather, only to see a reflection of his own terror mirrored in the old man's gaze. Reality began to unravel, the world around them flickering like a faulty projector. The air grew thick with an oppressive, malevolent energy that threatened to suffocate them both. The cityscape deteriorated into a nightmarish landscape, its buildings contorting and crumbling before their eyes. Dr. Anders realized that his very existence was in jeopardy, his past, present and future disintegrating in the face of his tampering. The cost of his actions loomed over him like a monstrous shadow. As the world crumbled into oblivion, Dr. Anders found himself trapped in a formless void, his existence suspended between life and death. He had gambled everything to alter the past, only to be ensnared in a hellish limbo. In the depths of his despair, Dr. Anders began to sift through the fragments of his shattered memories, searching for any clue that could help him escape the void. It was then that a long-forgotten memory, buried deep within his subconscious, surfaced. As a child, Dr. Anders had been fascinated by his family's history, often listening to his grandmother's stories with rapt attention. One story in particular had always intrigued him, the tale of a mysterious stranger who had saved his grandfather from a tragic accident, only to vanish without a trace. In the maddening darkness of the void, the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. Dr. Anders realized, with a mixture of horror and awe, that the mysterious stranger in his grandmother's stories was none other than himself. He had journeyed into the past and become the very architect of his own existence. The truth of his lineage, twisted and tangled by the fabric of time, sent shockwaves through Dr. Anders' mind. He was both his own savior and tormentor, locked in an eternal cycle of creation and destruction. The revelation was a double-edged sword. It granted Dr. Anders the understanding he so desperately sought, yet it also sealed his fate, condemning him to an existence forever haunted by the spectre of the grandfather paradox. The scientist had dared to challenge the immutable laws of the universe, and in doing so, had become his own grandfather.
Subscribe to Quantum Dreams.